Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Quick shout out to my new or updated patrons, Hamish K and Don H. Thank you guys for choosing to support the channel. First up today, a very interesting tweet from Green the Only. Further analyzing a new software version, Texas made 2022 Q1 dated Model Y Standard Range Plus. Remember, not a vehicle that you can currently order, but the one that we recently saw in EPA documents, maybe, is now added. So I guess that would be the first car configuration out of that place, meaning Giga Austin, pretty soon. Several new battery types added too. I don't dig into ECUs, so I don't know exactly what they are. Further, there's now going to be a different rear screen option for the S and X refresh, possibly just different assemblies for different touchscreen controllers, codenamed Aqueduct and Green Vulture. Model 3 gets a new trunk liftgate vendor. Also for the S and X, the interior cabin radar finally starts to get signs of life, so might come to life relatively soon. Also, trip energy accounting now takes into account cross and headwinds, air density and humidity when available, possibly China only for now. And this new trip energy accounting will include both when you type in a destination and Tesla computes the energy needed to get there, and also the calculation of how much energy you'll have left when you reach the destination. And here we have it, Ryan from Ride the Lightning asking specifically about the new EPA vehicle. Green said, well, maybe. The internal reference does not say anything about range or other properties, just the model name that includes timing and location. So some interesting updates here, but by far the most interesting is his guess that this new EPA version might be the first model configuration out of Giga Austin. And the only reason I'm not fully on board with this just yet is because there's still no option to actually order this new variant on the Tesla website. And sure, that could change any day now ahead of actual deliveries from Giga Austin. But for now, I just thought this was at least worth passing on. And if you missed the in-depth discussion on this topic, go back and check out Monday's video. Remember, right around the time this video today goes live, the Fed will have come out with its announcement from its meeting this week, so just keep that in mind. Next up, Giga Shanghai is going to be shut down for 2 days, today and Thursday. This coming from a notice delivered internally to suppliers, and on average, let's just say Shanghai is making about 2,000 vehicles per day, so that'd be about 4,000 lost in production over this time frame. However, it's important to remember that Giga Shanghai is operating below max capacity due to chip constraints. So maybe when Giga Shanghai opens back up, they'll be able to ramp production a bit to make up for some of this lost time. Shanghai authorities have asked citizens to stay at their homes for 48 hours to as long as 14 days as they carry out corona tests. In another notice, Tesla asked suppliers to inform the company how many workers were needed to reach full production and to provide details of employees affected by the new measures. Tesla also asked suppliers to make preparations and to enable workers to live, sleep, and eat at the factories. And from Kelvin Yang, Tesla China's unmet demand is going to get worse. There's a sizable wait party in China, potential buyers delaying purchase expecting a price cut or a better revision. Now the price cut expectation is flipped. These buyers are rushing in before the next price raise. And this might be an unpopular take, but honestly, it would be in Tesla's best interest to raise prices of the vehicles even if they weren't experiencing all of these inflationary pressures simply due to the demand. You can't have wait times getting too long. If prices were going lower or even stayed the same as where they were last year, wait times theoretically could easily be over a year. So Tesla raising prices makes sense even really before you factor in all of the inflationary pressure. On LinkedIn, we get some new comments from Herbert Deese. He was in Austin for the South by Southwest event, and he had some interesting things to say. First up, they are ramping their Chattanooga site for an additional 100,000 units of locally produced ID4. Deese met with the Texas governor, Greg Abbott, and he said that Greg, is attracting a lot of new investment to Texas in green energy. Texas is already the first in wind energy and close to becoming the first in solar in the US. With regard to Giga Austin, or the machine that produces the machine, he said it's impressive. 1.2 kilometers long, 400 meters wide, all under one roof, no logistics from cell production to the final assembly. Once up and running, it will very likely set some new benchmarks. I'm so happy we decided a new plant for Wolfsburg. Without that, no chance to compete. You guys have probably seen by now that Tesla is looking to expand to Virginia and Oregon. However, there's one line here that went way overlooked and is actually a very big deal. In these new states, the policies will be underwritten by Tesla General Insurance for the first time, as opposed to partner companies in other states. So real quick, just to bring you up to speed, remember, Elon has said that the insurance business for Tesla could grow to be 30 to 40% of Tesla's auto business, which is a huge number. So if we assume that the Tesla auto business alone is valued at around $500 billion, that's eventually $150 to $200 billion in valuation just for Tesla insurance. Now, to be fair, Elon has also said that Tesla Energy would eventually rival Tesla Auto, and we know that that's not going to happen for a very long time due to cell supply, so just keep that in mind. Tesla said on the most recent call that by the end of this year, the goal is to be in enough states where 80% of Tesla owners will have access to Tesla insurance. However, as mentioned before, the big news here is this is the first time Tesla will be underwriting its own insurance in Oregon and Virginia. So first, this will give Tesla much more control from the actuarial side when it comes to actually setting rates and what they will expect for future expenses related to claims. Tesla actually taking this step to do its own underwriting signals to me that they are now very confident with their ability to gather the correct data and to interpret that data in a way that is relevant to actually setting these insurance rates. Not only that, but in the long term, this is another step toward vertical integration, and we know that eventually that will be a good thing for margins, although in the short term, having to hire Tesla's own employees to do things like this may be initially a higher cost endeavor, but ultimately it will be the right move from a margin standpoint. Additionally, I have read elsewhere that Tesla's partners for insurance underwriting to date have had higher complaints than average. Now, I'm sure that can be debated. However, this will hopefully eliminate some of those complaints as Tesla takes this in-house. If you ever want to look into it on your own, the companies Tesla was working with were Red Point County Mutual and Midvale Indemnity. And a little fun fact, there was a period of time in college when I was studying to become an actuary. I'm sharing this though because you're not actually running your own insurance business until you're doing the underwriting or the actuarial work. So this is a big step for Tesla to actually have its own insurance business, and will it be a way to differentiate itself from other automakers that are also trying to offer their own insurance products with other partners. Moving on, here we have one of the trendier topics of the day, as Tesla has fired an employee due to presumably some of the videos that he uploaded for the FSD beta. And whether you like it or not, this is actually a big deal, especially as FSD becomes more in the public eye. So let's race through some of the points we've been given. John Bernal is the person, and his YouTube channel is AI Addict. He said that he never showed unreleased products or company secrets. I know a lot of people in the forums are saying, oh, well, this kid should have been fired. He was sharing unreleased stuff, but he is apparently saying that he never did. What position did John have? Well, he had moved into the role of Advanced Driver Assistance Systems Test Operator. So he was essentially working for Tesla, testing their advanced driving systems. Here's where we have one of the first contradictions that I've found. John says he bought the car in part because Tesla offered employees free access to FSD worth $8,000 at the time as a perk. So CNBC is saying he got this access for free. However, at the beginning of this video, John says point blank that he actually paid for the FSD beta software, so right now these aren't adding up. John said his managers verbally told him he broke Tesla's policy and that his YouTube channel was a conflict of interest. John, however, countered by saying he was always upfront and disclosed that he was running this YouTube channel, and it wasn't until John posted that video of hitting one of those bollards that then a few days after that, Tesla decided to let him go. Apparently, a copy of Tesla's social media policy was given to CNBC, and in it says Tesla relies on the common sense and good judgment of its employees to engage in responsible social media activity. And John said, a manager from my autopilot team tried to dissuade me from posting any negative or critical content in the future that involved FSD beta. They held a video conference with me but never put anything in writing. So I'll be honest here, at least on the surface with whatever data we've been given that I'm aware might not be the full story, it looks like Tesla just fired John because he posted a video that showed FSD beta in a negative light. We know that at one point Tesla had beta testers sign an NDA or a non-disclosure agreement, but then later in that interview, Elon kind of laughed it off, saying that people weren't following those anyways and that Tesla really shouldn't have them in the first place, which was kind of odd. Now, it is true that a Tesla employee profiting from YouTube for testing its ADAS systems while also being implied to test those very same systems could be construed as a conflict of interest. However, the problem here is that John said he disclosed it to Tesla and it wasn't a problem until that one video came to light. And this might be a controversial take, but I totally understand why Tesla would encourage its employees and FSD beta testers to not share everything. There's a reason this is a beta. There's a reason it's still in a limited release. It's not going to the public, so the public doesn't really need to be fully aware of everything that's going on. And I say this mainly because the public does not understand FSD beta. They don't understand the testing. They don't understand anything about the software or why this testing is needed to eventually get to autonomy where we're going to have safer roads. So I could rant about this for some time, so I'm just going to cut it off and let's move on. Let me know what you guys think below. Next up, we have Tesla in Australia with his new Stormwatch feature, automatically protect your home against weather events. Tesla will use your address to identify storms, and when it activates, the Powerwall will charge to maximum capacity for additional backup protection. Taking a quick look at the sustainable energy list, you can see NIO, XPeng, and Li all up almost 20 or over 20% on the day, so what's going on here? Simply put, China has expressed supporting these shares or ADRs, American Depositary Receipts, so all of those fears of being delisted have been quelled, at least for the moment. Why? Well, regulators from both countries are progressing toward a cooperation plan on United States listed Chinese stocks. The Chinese government said it supports the listing of companies overseas and said its crackdown on technology companies should end soon. We got a little teaser of the BMW i7, and I just have to ask, what are they doing with this fake grille? It feels like one of the worst design decisions I have seen in some time. Of course, it's personal preference, but I think it looks awful. This vehicle is supposed to go on sale later this year, and it's expected to have up to 380 miles of range, which would be great if it actually does. And here's a side profile. Yes, just a render, but no, not my taste at all. We missed this 2 days ago, but Rivian did hire a new chief operating officer, this coming at a critical time as it's struggling to ramp its production. Rivian hired Frank Klein, who used to work at Magna, and while he was there, he oversaw its shift to the electric mobility manufacturing space, including the production of the first electric vehicle made by a contract manufacturer. And Klein was also responsible for setting up the Mercedes-Benz plant in Hungary. And I think it's very important I point this out. So Elon has received so much criticism and feedback because of his coming out and saying, hey, FSD is going to be here by X time, and he's obviously missed it. But look at all these other automakers' promises and headlines from articles. Elon is not the only one that has been overly optimistic about when they will solve for autonomy. All other automakers basically don't have an understanding of the problem and are just coming out and saying, hey, we're going to do all the stuff Tesla's doing, and they're missing their timelines just like Tesla has so far. And in my opinion, Tesla is way closer. These other automakers, not even close. And last up for today, a very important vehicle for GM and Cadillac. The Lyriq is set to take orders this spring. When exactly? They'll open up on May 19th, and production should start March 21st in Spring Hill, Tennessee. Cadillac has not released reservation numbers for the Lyriq. They do this hand-raising thing, essentially just expressing how many consumers have showed interest in this car, and they said 233,000 people, but they also don't know how many of those will convert to orders. That'll do it for today. Please like the video if you did. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.